partners that give it all to you in the next 45 minutes. Of course, there's deeper details in that. But you guys are gonna get the best of the best. Okay. I only can squeeze it so much. I sell this course to other people right now. They paid $6,000 for like 6 weeks pretty much, and you get as much as I can for free. I'm not asking you guys to sign up for my course or anything, but that's how much good you're gonna get. So if you're not ready to get your life changed, honestly, I promised my wife and I promised Jesus I wouldn't cuss, but get the fuck out, because I'm here to give you my best. And if you're not here to receive the best, then you might need to change careers. All right, guys?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Hey, thank you so much, man. We are so grateful that you're here. I've had the pleasure of hearing you speak a couple of times, man. And every single time that you've spoken, I've taken away something from your speech. So without further ado, it looks like still people are still trickling in the Zoom room, but everybody that is here, make sure that your mics are muted. Let's be respectful of Min's time. Again, right, he is going to bring massive value for each and every single one of you today. He's going to share his lead machine, how he's getting 50 connections every single day. He's going to give it his best. And again, shout out to Mr. Carlos Velasquez for connecting Mr. Min to our community. And Mr. Min, if you guys don't follow him on social media, on Instagram, he has over 300,000 followers. He goes by What's a Mortgage. I want to drop his Instagram handle here in the chat. But that way you guys can make sure you guys connect, and I'm sure that you guys will get a ton of value from that. So without further ado, Mr. Min, take it away. Let's grow.
Thank you so much for having me on. And guys, the good thing about being part of this team, you have great leadership. And you know why? The difference between a good leader and a great leader, a good leader knows how to maintain. A great leader knows how to take to the next level. And watching Leo and his team and his leaders to see where they are now, they're always moving forward. But the leadership comes in, they're taking you with them. Some leaders become great, but they don't bring you with them, or they have a big turnover. He doesn't. Like every time Carlos has a party, I see the same leaders, new people, same leaders, and then more new people, more new people. But the thing is, the new people don't leave. They're just more new people. So be very happy and thankful that you're part of a great team. Okay. Number one. So let's get into it. So before I get into how I do social, right now we're generating about 50 leads a day. 50 leads a day. I have my contact rate, and their cold audience is about 40%. 40% is my contact rate off of these leads, and we're apping about close to 30% of that, which is really high. So currently right now I'm funding about 40 million at What's a Mortgage and Mortgages, and I'm about 20 million in What's a Mortgage deal fundings. Other fundings are like, LOs on my team have their own book of business or just deals here and there. But, out of my close to 40 million, 20 million, What's a Mortgage. Out of 20 million, I'm very transparent. I make about 80 basis points. Do the math. Okay. So, things are looking good, and how it stays good is the consistency, and I'm always evolving. So before we get into the content, you always have to be evolving. I don't know how old you are. I'm over 40 years old. I'm 44. So because I'm over 44, there's certain things in my life, because I didn't exercise my brain enough, I had to do a reworking in my system. As I reworked my system, I'm generating more leads today than I did back then. Higher quality leads, better employees, no bad deals. So you need to work your brain. The two steps you need to do to rework your brain, and I'm sharing this, I haven't really shared this with anybody else yet, even my own team, so you guys get the first. You got to get this book called Limitless. Get this book called Limitless. It will change your life. And I'm telling you right now, you got to read this book. And it's going to change your mindset, and also gives you tips on how your memory and speed reading.
Yeah.
Anyone who's going to become great needs to know how to speed read. Say again? So anyone, like I said, learn how to
You're
speed
good, brother.
And if for those of you like, I don't want to read, I don't want to do this, I'm not a reader either. And I was kind of reading books here and there, and it took me forever. I read this book in 2 weeks. It literally changed my life. So if you want to evolve in 2025, read this book. I promise you it will change your life. It's giving me more confidence in believing that I can live a limitless life. And it gives you strategies on how to become limitless. Number one. Number two, as I'm getting older, my brain, my function, my mood, I have a lot going on. You need to look into nootropics. I started with NeuroGum. And I had to take my NMLS again because my license is so old. This neurogum allowed me to focus. And through neurogum, I started getting into nootropics. And I started getting into nootropics. And through that, my memory started getting better. Yes, at 44, I woke up my brain. You need to have good memory so you can read. And then you start focusing more. And I don't think a lot of us, because we're always multitasking, we're losing that focus. So those are the two things I would look into. Let me show you my regimen here. I'll share it with you guys for a second. This is my regimen that I'm taking for my nootropics here. So I can send it to you guys. This is what I'm taking. And the main thing, if you are having a memory challenge, Bacopa Monero. And I learned this from like guys who are back in college are trying to take tests, evolve, and get better. Bacopa Monero and Lion's Mane, I'm on it like crazy. Ashwagandha helps with your focus, helps you like calm down, because I know it's a stressful business we're in. How can we show up our best for our clients unless we're in our A game? Okay, definitely, I highly recommend that you guys take it. This is for my regimen. You can talk to a doctor. You can actually chat GPT it, tell him your situation, and it actually will give you what's best for you, and you start testing it. And literally, it has really changed me. It actually gave me more energy to like, okay, I didn't want to speak anymore, like, but now I'm encouraged. This thing has really changed my life. And that's the attitude you need before doing social media. Because a lot of times it's not going to be perfect on social media. You're not going to get the leads you want right away. You're not going to get the results, and then you give up. You know, even for myself, I'm doing social media for 7 years now. I was at the beginning of it. And as I was in the beginning, I'm thinking I should be ahead of everybody. There's certain situations you are, but there's certain situations, there's guys, I call them young whippersnappers on social media, that come in last minute and they're superseding me. But I don't give up. I don't stop, because my why is so big. And I focus on my why because of what the stuff I'm taking right now. And I'm still generating more leads than people with bigger accounts, because my why is so big. I'm focused. I can articulate a lot better, and I can know, okay, move this piece, move that piece, and it allows me to fine tune my leads. Okay. So those are two things I highly recommend that you focus on in 2025. Now let's get to social media. So for you to grow a big social media presence in 2025, you need to lay a base foundation. Is what is your page about? What is your page about? Literally make notes of what is your page about? And does your page match the narrative of your audience? And I was going through identity crisis last year. I'm like, oh man, my page is not growing as much. I'm not moving as quick. And I started changing the narrative. I started seeing my audience change, and my apps started going down. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go back to the basics. What is the foundation of your page? What are you doing social media? Are you just trying to go viral and try to get a brand deal? Or are you trying to generate leads? Are you trying to grow, recruit more agents? What is the goal of your page? And does the goal of your page matches the audience that's watching your stuff? Like if your average purchase price is $1.5 million, 2-3 million, I wouldn't be trucking around talking about like I'm in my Honda driving to my even if it's not saying wrong to have a Honda, but it doesn't portray the audience that you want. Maybe you do more stuff that you might not have the life you want yet, but maybe you need to portray a lot more of that in your page if that's your case. But if your average purchase price is 600,000-700,000, but then you have a video, your intro video of you coming out of a nice Mercedes. Okay, it doesn't portray the audience that you're looking for. So make sure your audience matches what you're putting on your page. If you are a person that does non-QM a lot, does your page show a lot of non-QM? A lot of non-QM people, they want to see, success. They don't want to see struggle, because non-QM are self-employed, completely different audience. Also, is your audience wide enough? Okay, if you're picking a specific area, okay, we had a guy who picked Brown, the Brown County in Florida. I'm like, bro, I've never heard of Brown County. Is the audience big enough for Brown County? Why don't you pick a main city in Brown that's really well known, if that's what you're looking to do? Okay, just remember, TikTok is audio and Instagram is visual. So the visual they're seeing or the audio they're hearing, is it wide enough? Is your net wide enough? That's why mortgage and real estate, it's really hard to go viral. And most people I see go viral and they do real estate mortgage, they don't focus only on real estate and mortgage. But there's some guys that are super viral, right? But it's just luck. But majority, it's hard to get that viral talking about something that's not viral, especially in the economy that's getting harder and harder to purchase. you might not get the eyeballs and ears you need, but you're still going to convert. Okay. So write that down first. How is your audience? Are you hitting enough people? Okay. So for me, I want buyers and sellers that are first-time home buyers, upgrade buyers. I'm not looking for investors. I'm not looking for non-QM. I'm not saying that can't be for you, but who's your audience? So that's why I share a lot of stuff with my family. I talk about the news a lot. I got into some politics. I just pulled it off recently because it was more people talking about politics fighting, not real buyers and sellers. So now I went back to mortgage and real estate, and now I can see the algorithm picking up for me again. What are you talking about? So the best way is you have to understand that social media is a relationship. Anyone start a new relationship in the past year, 2 years, 3 years, under 5 years? How do you get to know that person? You communicate. So if you're not communicating to Instagram and TikTok on what you want back, how can they bring it back to you? Okay. I'm sure if you've been with somebody for longer than 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, they already know your mannerisms. I know once a week, my wife wants pizza night. I know my son what he wants, right? We have a relationship. Do you have a relationship with social media? If you're trying to turn this to a machine that prints money for you, do you have that relationship with it that can print you money? If not, you go in somewhere and you order things all over the place, right? And you're sending out mixed signals. You ever in the beginning of any relationship, you don't have that strong communication. You're sending out mixed signals. The person you're trying to date doesn't understand you that well. They don't know where your spot is, right? Everyone's got that spot, right? Everyone's got that spot. How's the other person know where your spot is unless trial and error? Trial and error happens, then they know that spot. Now they know every time that spot, right? So you got to know that that's social media. What are you telling it? And the best way to do it is through putting out content. Some of you guys need to put out a lot of content till you find out two things. What works for you to mass produce, and what is the feedback you're getting back from your audience? Those two things. And the only way to find out is to put out content. I used to put out 3 to 5 pieces a day, 2 pieces a day, until I kind of got into my rhythm. Then when you're in your rhythm, now you might not need to post all the time. Or eventually, some of you guys who are killers, I do a lot of paid advertising now. I don't need to put out that much content. I just like putting it out because it keeps me sharp. I don't go out and do real estate. I don't do mortgages. I haven't done an application since 2008. I had to start working again in 2017 because I kind of lost all my shit. I got my shit back together. After 2018, November, I have not taken an application again. Okay. But that's how much married I am to social media. Are you putting out enough content? Right. And so let me show you a couple of accounts here. So a good way, a way to put out content is this way, right? Let me show you a second. So there's a person, let me see, where's his account here? Kenny Simpson, okay? He took his account, let me stop sharing again. Let's see here, let me share. Forgot to add volume, guys, I'm sorry. This guy took his account from 4,000 to 63,000 in about 6 months. His content's not viral even. All he started doing was doing duets, and that's it. He started doing duets in the beginning. Now he's talking a lot more, but his account is mainly duets on home repair duets, home decor duets. So he's trying to let Instagram know is that I want buyers or I want viewers who are into DIYs. By the way, that's a trick that a lot of my students are using is they're duetting DIYs. And they're doing DIYs, home repair, home maintenance, and home decor. And that's bringing the audience that they're looking for. Okay. So that's what he's doing. And that's how he's growing his audience. Because when you're putting out content, there's 2 types of content you put out. You put out anchors and you put out magnets. You need magnets to attract them. Your anchors are you talking. So as he's starting to perform better, he's talking a lot more. You can see a lot of his new videos, he's talking a lot more. And that's how he's generating his leads. So when you're generating your leads, you need to find a way. It's called coding. How do you code your page? Okay? You can do real estate. You can do mortgages. A lot of people are using new construction. Are you coding it with new construction? I've worked with a couple of new construction realtors. They don't talk enough on their page. So they're making their real estate agents come through a lot of dog shit to get a little. Because now they're using magnets to bring them in, but they're not using anchors to keep them at the page. So if they don't want that specific new construction, they're losing them on the next deal. So definitely, if you're building your page and you're trying to generate buyers, how do you want to code it? Are you coding it with DIYs? Are you coding it with home improvements, um, home repair, restoration? What are you doing to code your page? Are you doing new construction? If you're a lender or a realtor, or if you are a realtor, are you coding it like I code mine with living trust? Why is that? Does the average person get a living trust? No. Someone who has assets and family members to leave something through. My biggest clientele are family members, people with families. People with families typically have living trust. If you're not thinking about living trust, that means you have what? You have nothing to pass on. You have no net worth. Do I want that as a buyer? As a loan officer? I'll take those. But if someone's thinking about living trust, they got what? Feria, they got lechuga, they got money. That means I'm dealing with a higher quality buyer. I'm coding my page with a higher performance client. Start coding your page, not what you like. You can do some of that, but are you your ideal audience? If you know you're a stingy person and you like, even though you want people to spend money, if you don't spend money and you don't like to, and you're super frugal, you might not like your own page then. You should hate your own page because people on your page should be spending. They should be able to give their socials, see houses, buy. Okay. So your page can reflect you, but are you your ideal audience? If you're not, do not. I am not my ideal audience. The reason why, there's two pairs of jeans I'm looking to buy, Mountain Bow or the Perfect Jean. I've been researching for like 6 months just to buy a $80 pair of jeans. When I know I spent that in like one day just like dicking around. So like, I'm not my ideal audience. So when you quote your ideal audience. What is their average purchase price? If your average purchase price is a milli, what work backwards? What is the income level of someone who's buying something for milli? What's their lifestyle? Someone who's buying 400,000 or 500,000, what's their lifestyle? Like, I can make a video that goes viral, but if my clients don't fit that narrative, what's the use of that? And that's where I see a lot of influencers fall into the trap. Lenders, I think, can get away with more because you're not really showing houses unless you're going to do real estate and you have an exit strategy of like assigning it out, which I know Leo has a great, referral system where you guys can sign it anywhere. But if I want to go viral, I should do more ranges in the 400,000 or 500,000. Okay, if I want to go viral, and of course I can pick it from this guy trust me nationwide. But if you're like, I want local business, I wouldn't do 400,000 or 500,000. I might get less views, but I'm trying to coat the right audience on my page. Okay. So make sure that you are layering correctly and coding that audience. And when I say coding, I think if you're new, out of 5 days a week, let's say you don't want to do weekends, maybe 3 of your posts should be coding. 2 of your posts should be you talking or something that someone gets to know you. Like, I trust this person to let them into my house to sell it. I trust this person to give them my social security number. Can they say about you when you're building authority, right? You have your magnets and you have your anchors. Your anchors should be building authority. Before I move to the next section, anyone have questions before we go do more examples of accounts that I follow or the ones that work with me? I'll get like three questions. So
Yeah.
anyone who has 3 questions?
Yeah, drop it in the chat, guys, or I think that's probably going to be the most efficient way. Drop your question in the chat or raise your electronic hand if you can't articulate it in the chat. And if not, we can move on and we can open up for Q&A at the end as well. Coding. Maria said, what's coding again?
I mean, what do you mean by layering?
Yeah, so the term you keep using, coding, right? Like, so what does coding mean?
Like
I think you're
coding, like you coat before you paint, you got to lay a coat down, right? Because now you're painting on top of that. So now you're building content on top of that. So I'm talking about coding, like COATING, coding. What are you coding your page with? Okay. If I was
Gotcha.
if I was recruiting loan officers, Carlos, hint hint, I would show why loan officers are successful working for me, why realtors are successful working for me, me giving strategies on how to be a successful real estate agent, me talking about how I got more buyers, how I got more sellers, maybe not the finite of like real estate if I am trying to grow a business of recruiting. If I was trying to grow business of listings, I would give nightmares about listing a property. Nightmare, like I would teach more on how to list a property yourself. And through that, I might have a listing guide that people can download for free. And most likely they're not going to list it themselves. Okay. If that's what I want, what are you coding your page with? Okay. To me, right now, the biggest one is real estate. You guys have an advantage. If you know a lot about home repair right now or home maintenance, that is probably the two greatest coats you can put out right now. That helps build biggest followers. If you look up home maintenance, home repair, DIY on TikTok or Instagram, if you do that stuff at your home, time lapse the shit out of that. Out of that. That means you record yourself doing it and then you can do a voiceover. Those are killing it. Those outperform real estate videos. Those outperform mortgage videos. If you're gonna coat, but that audience is probably gonna be someone who's kind of frugal because they want to do everything themselves, but they're into that. They're probably married with family. No one really decorates a house to that level by themselves unless, that's who they are, which is rare. Okay. So that's what I mean by coding, laying the foundation of what type of audience do you want. For me, I do living trust is my main coat, is one of my coats. I talk about mortgages, but I don't talk about mortgages at the beginner level. Why? So think about this. If you're starting to save money to buy a home, do I want that client? No. Eventually, but I want that client who can buy now. Why do you think I talk about closing costs so much? Why do you think I show mortgage payments so much? I'm trying to tell social media, by the way, I want an FHA with 5% down and a 660 credit score. I want my conventional buyer to buy a 700,000 with at least 10% down. I am coding the information out there to bring the right audience. Okay. I know now is that I don't need, I have 333,000 followers. This month, I'm probably going to hit 40 million, close to 40 million again. I have a good friend of mine who's at my company. He has 461,000 followers, and he's going to fund 4 units compared to my 40 million because he's coded his audience with assumable mortgages. Player, come on. He's doing it with pulling equity out of your home to put $20,000 in solar into your house, which I know solar is more than 20,000. Think about this. You get someone who's clicking these things. They're like people, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. Do you want people who don't make sense on your page clicking through? Yes, he's going to get some business, but a lot of business, no. Even so, out of my 50 leads a day, about 30, 35 come from paid advertising. Another 15, 20 come organically because I've coded my page so well that when people ask me a question, they're real leads. They're not asking me a question on hey, my cousin's a VA. I'm going to take over. So how do I assume his mortgage? Do I get a deal out of it? No. Do you get a deal out of it? No. So that's why when I talk about coding, that's what I mean. Okay. So besides that question, any other questions before I continue? The book again is Limitless by Jim Quick. Okay. All right. Let's get back into it. So most important thing, you got to lay the right foundation, code it. Think about your anchors and your magnets. Your magnets, you can search on TikTok. I use TikTok. By the way, I'll tell you guys, I'll tell you a trend right now. What's a big trend right now? Anyone know? You know who's getting canceled? Your favorite. Freaking Zillow. Zillow put out, I'm actually making the video. So anyone you make a video, make sure you give me credit. Zillow has made a commercial on random people buying homes together because the homes are so expensive now. Cancel culture is like shutting down Zillow right now. Okay. Let me see if I can drop you guys a video here so you guys can see yourself. And it's pretty big right now. And it's trending. I would talk about that. Okay. That would be a good, I just dropped it in the chat. That's a good magnet. Not an anchor, but it's a magnet. Okay. It's a magnet right now. And that's going to bring people to the page. It's trending. You can find these trends on TikTok. If some of you guys, if you're on an amazing team or you are an amazing leader and you already have a VA or someone's finding all your topics, they should be trolling the internet all day and finding you stuff to talk about and finding you what's viral, finding you things that can resonate with you. Or if you are awesome at repairing things, maybe one day a week, you record everything yourself. That's viral. That's like you fixing something. Okay. So make sure you find your anchors and your magnets. Now that we know how to layer things, okay, once you layer, you drop your magnets. Once your magnet starts producing well and you're starting to build an audience, your next thing is your stories. I draw most of my deals out of stories. And through my stories where I get to know people, I can share, everyone who follows me knows I love Snoopy. Everyone who follows me knows on Mondays, I do beat the rate. So yeah, on Monday, it was a holiday. The bond market was closed. There was no rates. People were sending me messages. Amen. Hey, You're not doing beat the rate today? Like, no, I am. It just rates were down. Cool. Hey, can you review this loan estimates? So I'm starting to get leads out. So Monday is my beat. So have a schedule next. So one now, have a system, have a schedule. If you're looking to print money, it's not sporadic. If you ask Leo, when he recruits, he has a system. Social media has a system. You code, you have a system on coding. You have a system to figure out what works or doesn't work. Once you have a system on coding, you have a system on your magnets and your anchors. Next is your system on your stories. Monday, I have beat the rate, which generates me leads. Tuesday's Q&A, which generates me leads. I left Wednesday kind of cool off a bit. Thursday, I do qualify and I do numbers. I get more leads. So that's how I generate organic leads. Okay. If it was me, I would do deal of the day. I would maybe show a couple deals why this is a bad deal or a good deal. Hey, if I wrote an offer on this deal, this is what I would do. Hey, if you're out there, if you're out there trying to think about writing an offer on a home and you want to see if it's a good deal or bad deal, message me. Or hey, if I sell this house, I would sell at this price. If you're looking to list your home here, or hey, I would do examples of seller's net sheet in my stories. If you're looking to sell your home, man, I should have been a real estate agent. If you're looking to sell your home, right? Or if you want to see what your home, the cost of selling your home, go ahead and comment this. Are you guys doing things as real estate agents? Because at the end of the day, it's becoming more, yes, they have to fall in love with the home, but when you sell it, when you sell your home, is it an emotional thing? A little bit, but it's more of a numbers thing. So for me, it is. So like I would start coding that in my stories. I would start coding that in my reels. If they do perform well on reels, you might not do it all the time on reels, but I would do it more often in stories. And I learned that. One day I just showed like, should you refinance or not? Boom, I was popping refi left and right because I found out it works, but I'm not going to do it all the time in reels because I use reels as my magnets to bring in my audience. So sometimes I change it up. And then now that I know what's working in my stories, I start dropping these bombs in stories and it's every week the same ass shit. So I don't have to think about it anymore. Remember, I'm not here to go viral to get a check from like Banana Republic. I'm here to generate mortgage leads. So that shit is boring sometimes. And I had to get over that fear about being boring. I need to make sure I was able to generate leads. I got 20 people I got to feed in leads every day. That means everyone's got at least 2 leads they need to get from me every day. So I got to make sure I'm cranking leads. So make sure you set up your system where like, I have to generate leads. I have a number I have to meet, right? I don't know any lender or realtor. They don't have a quota. I have a quota. That's why I have to live by a system. Hey, I'm sure go back to Leo or any of your managers. I'm sure their success has some sort of system. And everything I'm telling you guys, because I was asked to do this yesterday, I can't really like in depth in my system, but I have a system on how I coat. Okay, here's another one I'll show you. Let me pull up another thing right here really quick. Give me 1 second. Like let me give you my content. Okay, so this is my content here. Let me go to this really quick here. 1 second, guys. Anyone have questions while I'm pulling this up?
It's really good stuff, bro. Just wanted to say that this is really powerful, powerful stuff. The coding, I definitely understand what you're dropping there. Guys, put it into the chat if you guys have any questions here. And while he transitions to the next thing, if you guys are getting massive value as well, drop it into the chat as well. I'm writing down a bunch of notes as well. Thank you so much for this, bro. This is fire.
No worries, no worries. So here is my content, right? My payment Mondays. Since rates have gone up, I haven't done payments as much anymore, but as rates pull back, I know putting payments out were amazing. And I was getting leads like crazy. There was one day, the day when we thought feds were going to cut rates, even though everyone says rates went up, even though I knew it did, I said rates went down. I went against everyone else. I just ate 3/8 of a point, but I generated 2,700 inquiries or 1,300 inquiries. I had 650 appointments and I apped about probably like 80 people. And on some of our in escrow, some are just waiting for deals to pop, right? But I'm not doing payments as much anymore. But here, so I have 3 books, three sections. I have my payment Mondays, my house hacks, my hacks, different things in life that are going viral, right? And my links, the ones I've done, and then my Thursday, my CTAs. Thursdays, I always do a video that expects me to get leads, right? I'm in the business of generating leads. I'm not in the business of like, just putting out information. I do that in here, but I have a lead day. So Thursday is for sure my lead day. Some other days, I'm not really doing lead days, but I have a system. See all these links? And I have the difference of it, the date I dropped it. So my goal is this, guys. When you start building a system, there's 52 weeks in a year. I divide that by 2. Okay. So 26 weeks. So my goal is put out to like, I regurgitate my content twice a year. So I don't even make new content anymore. Because remember this, even if you drop the same video twice a year or 3 times a year, new people are going to see it. And these people aren't buying homes all day long. So when you drop a video, you can do it over and over again. Maybe not do a bunch of it in 1 week. Maybe you figure out a style or like, hey, I know they're into this. Then you spread it out. It's a system. So twice a year, I spit out the same piece of content. I even say the same lines, right? The first thing you're going to do after you buy a home is put your home in a living trust. I know they're going to say, if you do it, they can call the house no do. But there's something called the Garden St. Germain Act. I got that shit one down. That's my bread and butter right there. So, like I said, it is a system. Going viral is not important, but having a system helps you go viral quicker. But having a system will help you generate leads consistently. Anyone who gets consistent leads, right? Anyone who gets consistent leads, your manager gets consistently, follows a system. So that's why it's important that you sit there, you break down what works and it doesn't. And the only way is have it, set some time, try out a bunch of stuff. You know what coding is, right? COATIG. You coat until you find the audience that you want. Another way, reach out to your past clients. When you drop a video, a lot of my mentees do this. In their CRM, they send a message to their clients to follow them. And they ask their clients, is there something you would want answer? They would answer that question and make another video and drop it to them. So the goal is to make sure like you got to trial and error all these things, but the main thing is have a system. So now that we have a system turning and now you're making money, you have leads coming in, you're making money, stay away from first-time home buyer stuff that's like, they're not going to buy a year from now. Do some stuff that they can do now. Everyone needs a check now, right? Anyone needs a check 6 months from now? I'll think about that check later. I need that check now. So make sure your content brings you lechuga and feria right now, right? Was it Adora? Right now, right? Not later, but now. And now we have a system. So once you have a system, now you need a budget for yourself. Don't go out and YOLO and spend all that money, right? Run ads. I'm telling you, the difference between me and everybody else, I run a system that generates consistently because I do paid advertising. I spend about $1,000 a day. Not saying that you have to go out and spend $1,000 a day, but I spend $1,000 a day now. It started with like a couple $100, like Carlos Velasquez, right? He is the original investor in What's a Mortgage in the beginning when he bought leads from me. Because of that, and I saw that success, I was able to continue it. Set a budget. Okay. I have a budget to run ads in California. I only want to run ads in California because my average loan amount is bigger, right? No matter where you are, you can run ads in your states. By the way, states like Arizona, states like the Carolinas and Georgia, you're going to have a higher conversion rate because affordability is there. So California, you might not get as many leads, but the leads you do get are higher loan amount or higher purchase prices, depending on your lender or realtor. So now we do paid advertising. So now I have, honestly, I do my Empower, I do my soft mortgage credit pool, my underwritten approval, and my Purchase Plus. I call them the Trojan horse. You guys are getting like the good. So now we know how to bring in an audience. Now we're doing everything organic. Now when you run ads, you find your videos that the ones that are your anchors, your high performing ones, you put them out there. It does well. You can use that ad to help grow your page. When that ad grows your page, it's going to go to the right people, right? Let's say you don't get a lot of views, but you get a lot of engagement. Maybe that's the video you want to run as ads to grow your page. And then after that, we run another ad video on product. If you better have an offer. Do not say, I'm a great realtor in the world. Send me your deal. No, give out a buyer's guide, get out a seller's guide. Maybe something talk about a grant. Even though you are realtors, there's grants you guys know about because there has to be something that separates you from the average person. Okay. What's your offer, right? Now that we talk about growing an audience, now we talk about your ads. Or you can even try your ads in stories because people follow you, but the right video and stories gets them to reach through. Mine is Qualified Thursdays. I know now that I run Qualified Thursdays, so I'll run that ad in my stories and I'll generate buyers off of that because they want to know what they qualify for. What are you doing outside the norm? Okay. I tried purchase price or zero closing cost purchase. It did not do well. Why is that? People like, what's the catch? But when I talk about grants or DPAs, and I explain exactly what the DPA does, like we have this thing called Empower, where you're gonna take a rate of 1% higher than normal to get the deal, but in 6 months you can refinance it. I was really upfront about it. We get higher quality leads of that, or more of those type of leads. So what is your offer? Create your offer. Hey, if you want to see a free seller's net sheet before you go out there and talk to a realtor, hey, if you want your own breakdown, or hey, whatever it is, right? Or if you want my list of do's and don'ts, or hey, these are things that happen in home inspections that go wrong. Realtors, you guys have a lot more content than lenders. Actually, like things that go wrong. What happens when you get when the seller doesn't pay, or the sell after you close escrow, there's something wrong with the house, right? Make the list of those things. You want this guide. Hey, if you want to save yourself X amount from home repairs, whatever it is, right? Give an offer. And through the offer now, you have your funnel, and your funnel should outline what's going to happen next. Okay. Think about this. Unless you're Diddy, they don't tell you what happens next, except for, hey, grab that drink. All of a sudden you're like butt naked in baby oil, right? I'm not talking about that. But what is in your funnel, once you have your offer, what happens next? Oh my gosh, fam, thank you so much for asking about the Purchase Plus. So remember this, you got to have good credit. That means you need a 680 credit score or better. Number two, you have to be a first-time homebuyer. That means you can't own a home in the past 3 years. And remember, as long as you're renting in the Riverside, San Bernardino County, you will have a high chance of qualifying. The next step, my team and I are going to reach out to you. Don't forget to respond back to their message. And remember, this is my private phone number, so don't give it out to anybody. But if you want to ask me a question, go ahead and send me a text. Right? That's my spiel. But now, before I even set the appointment, now I'm filtering out good leads. I'm like, oh, they need a 680. They need to be a first-time homebuyer. They got to be renting in these counties. Even though I'm running ads there, sometimes it might slip out. So when that person sets the appointment through my Calendly link, the quality of the lead is so much better. And Lightning now, there's a box you got to mark saying that, yes, I'm okay getting called by this person and text in an automated system. Once they click that, that's why my conversion rate is 40%. My contact rate is 40%. Okay, so let me go reiterate back to it. So number one, most importantly, get the book or do something to work on your memory and speed reading. You got to start reading. I'm reading so much more now because of this book. I'm not saying you should. Because I'm over 40 and I'm not as sharp as I used to be. I remember when I was in high school, I can listen to a lecture and take a test and pass. I can't do that now. So the non-tropics really has taken the next level. But Copa Monera, I think, is probably the best for memory. Things that I didn't remember back then, I'm remembering now. So definitely take a look at it. And then next is find out what your page is about. When you find out what your page is about, does your audience resonate with that page? Are you putting enough information out there to build trust with them? Once you decide your page, make sure your why is so big, you're not going to give up. You keep trying and trying and trying. Put out as much content as you can to coat. Once you coat, remember, TikTok is audio and Instagram is visual. So are you coding certain locations? If you're a realtor, right? If you're trying to be the neighborhood realtor, are you coding areas that people can recognize? My number one agent, Kina DeSantis, she has 24,000 followers on TikTok. I think her team might hit 100 million this year. She's been an agent for 4 years, 5 years, I think 4 or 5 years. Okay. She'll always say Orange County, LA, or Riverside County. Kills it. She only has 24,000, which doesn't seem like a lot. It's not that much, but because she has a system after they get in, now she gets repeat business. It's still growing, but it's not growing at that rapid level. But she's the only one with a small account that I say is slaying it. Okay. So once you have a system, you code it, and then who are you? How are you building authority? Another thing, when you are writing your authority, are you the hero? Let me show you here. Okay. I'm going to try to end it with a couple of this. I can go a little bit longer, but I know that you guys are short for time. So let me get in here. So this guy's the hero, Freddie Smith. Oh, actually, I forgot to hit the sound button. My bad. 1 second here. Sound is on. Okay, cool. So where's the audio at? Where's my audio not playing here?
Is because the workers are demanding more money, as they should, because inflation has been running wild. The workers are demanding a 77% pay hike, and they're only being offered about 50% right now. So the highest pay is about $39 an hour, and that would bring it to $69 an hour.
This guy right here.
The American dream as we know it is dead. There is no reviving the American dream. These 4 things destroyed the American dream for the new generation.
He is the hero. If you read the comments, he is vilifying baby boomers and saying that generation millennials, right, are having a hard time. Gen Z are having a hard time. And because of that, people are rooting for him. Or when you talk as your narrative, are you the hero, right? Or are you the teacher?
Forms to invest your money in. I talk a lot about investing, and people ask, where do you invest? How do you buy a stock? All that kind of stuff. Here are the 3 companies completely unsponsored on where I would put my money if I had to choose one.
So this guy right here, a little secret about him, he just has VAs go on the internet and find viral pieces of information that have nothing to do with mortgages. As long as it's viral, he's going to talk about it. And he does everything in a list so that people stay for the full list. You can tell he's not like me. He doesn't even have the energy. So don't think I don't have the energy like you, man. I can't do this. This guy sounds boring, but you're going to stay there and hear it. And what he does, he finds viral subjects to talk about. That's all he does. But he has a system on how he does it. He finds it on TikTok or on Instagram or YouTube, and he talks about it. He regurgitates it. This guy went from 4, 5, or 9,000 followers to 1.1 million in 1 year. He went viral. The problem with him, he's not generating that many mortgage leads but he has a different game plan. Okay. So definitely he's someone to follow. This person, the BFF. She works for me on my team, right? See here.
Dean, can you explain Trump's plan on tariffs for tax cuts?
Yeah, from what I understand, he's trying to cut taxes and pay for all of it by tariffs. What Trump's plan?
I'm not saying right or left. I'm saying when he talks to you, he's what? Your BFF. So are you talking as a BFF? Are you teaching something? Are you trying to be the hero? Or are you trying to be the guinea pig? Which I'm doing on my hard money course, like what I'm going to go through investing right now. So who are you? And last but not least, are you the journalist that just talk about things? Okay. Or the comedian. Anyone know this guy? Guy kills it.
Mic check, test. We're back.
Test. A ver.
Yeah.
Me gusta.
Mira la Jaina con su pelo bien.
Bien Lord Farquaad.
La Lord Farquaad. La Jaina
So he
Farquaad.
uses words called
Okay,
Mama
so
Lola.
hoy vamos a ver esta casa mamalona. Estamos aquí en 3704 Celita Loop en Laredo, Texas. Y aquí te cabe Juan.
He found a funny way. I don't know what Mama Lola is, but it anchors the audience that he wants. And he's being out there, the journalist, funny. This guy's doing it all. Guy kills it. Okay. So once you have to identify your narrative, that's one more thing I forgot to. As you guys do you're solidifying that you are an expert in your field. Who are you as the narrator? Okay. Once you figure that out, you start blending it together and you start getting results. You start seeing results and track everything. I use something called Metricool and I track all my content. What performs well, what doesn't perform well. What doesn't perform well, I don't do it again. What performs well, it goes on my list. And through my list, I keep regurgitating it twice a year. And that right there is my secret on social media. I don't do anything special. I just create a system that works for me and I follow the system. And as I follow the system and I produce, I leverage that to paid advertising. With my paid advertising, that's why I think it would be hard for a lender to surpass me in volume in social, in leads, because I figured out, I decently figured out the organic, but I leverage heavy on paid advertising. So it's a higher quality client and viewer that's going to watch my stuff. And through that, I generate leads. And as I'm sitting here with you, people are doing people are clicking the button just so they can set an appointment with one of my loan officers. And then after that, I run a system. Hopefully that helps you out. And that's what I do. I've been doing this. I've kind of not mastered it. I've gotten better over the years. I feel like the first 3 years I had a bad business partner, or 4 years, bad partners. Last 2 years, I said, the partners were still shitty, but I had more control. Now I'm in complete control and I can see it going to the next level because of the things I'm doing. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Any questions?
This was so powerful. Powerful. Let's give Mr. Ben a big round of applause for that. That was so fire. Honestly, give him a huge shout out, guys, on social media. There's a couple of questions actually on the chat, bro. I don't know if you had an opportunity to dive into it. I think AJ just posted one, and then Steve posted another one. But let's see if we can get some of those answered here. We got a couple more minutes, man. But so valuable, bro. Extremely valuable stuff. This was so fire.
I told Steve, so I run ads on Meta. I only do Facebook ads because for me, I know that you can systemize it. Because right now on TikTok, you can't, the DMs don't work. You can't, it's very limited on automation. They have to go to a Calendly page and set the appointment. A lot of times I want them to DM me and engage with them so I can generate leads. My leads that come off of my organic are performing better than the ones that come off, of course, my paid advertising. But without the DMs, I would lose out on that. So I like Instagram the most because you can run a business on it. YouTube, it's a patient game. You compound over the time, and people still have to reach out to you, right? Sometimes going that extra effort is hard, but asking a question in the DM so much easier. That's why I like Instagram.
Powerful, powerful. Thank you, brother.
See here, do podcasts work? Podcasts work, AJ, if you actually preset your podcasts. Some people, what do I mean by preset? Have the questions that you want to answer ready. Okay. Yeah, there are people that go lucky and go viral, but a lot of podcasts I've seen, you're just using you're mumbling or you're using dead words. Okay. Like there's so much dead words or words that you don't need that you're gonna lose people. You need to catch them. You got 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. You're lucky if you make it a 1,000. That means that line needs to be amazing. Like for me, hey, even sugar babies are buying houses. That's going to make you want to hear, right? Even sugar babies are buying houses. Yes, if you know what a sugar baby is, it's a girl, a lot of times younger, some man, a lot of times older, is taking care of them. So one of our viewers could not get qualified at any bank. She doesn't have a job. She's a college student, but her sugar daddy left her a lump sum of money. He's like, man, I want to qualify to buy a house, like, but no one wants to qualify me. So I shared with her. So I just got you because I use sugar baby. Hey, you know, I had a client and she reached out to me, and you know what she did for a living? She was I've already lost you. Like, it went too long. Make sense? So if you are going to do podcast style, yes, you want to have a normal conversation. But if in that podcast, if they miss your question, hand the question to the interviewer. Hey, ask me this question. And when you say your first line, it's got a punch. Like, hey, one thing I know as a married man, never argue with your wife in public. You're going to stop and hear why, right? Like, dude, we had these couple went out to reach out to me. They're ready to upgrade to the next home. And as soon as I ran a credit, the husband went crazy. Because all of a sudden this car just shows up on the wife's credit. He's like, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you, I co-signed for my brother. And he's like, but he says this can go away because he's making the payments, but they've only made 4 payments, so they can't admit it. So they start yelling back and forth. And all of a sudden he calls her like something like a mentirosa, whatever that means. She lost it. Then she started talking shit about how his gambling problems and his other baby mama. See, you shouldn't like that. I told her he should have shut the fuck up. But you see what I'm saying? Like I started with, married man, like I would not argue with my wife. So you need stuff like that. And that's hard to do unless someone presets a question for you, AJ.
Perfect, brother. Really good stuff. Man, somebody actually asked about the layering, right? Like what's the best layering for real estate professionals? And I know you have it niched down, but you said home repair and home maintenance, right? Those are like the ones that are outperforming. So anything else you would add to that for
home tours. Home tours still kill it. Home tours still kill it. You can do it by just sharing someone's home tour, or what that Mama Malone guy did. He actually wore the mask and he just showed up at the house. Home tours still kill it. You know why? It's a visual thing. Remember, so if you read this book, you'll know more people will remember you because of images, not because of your words. Remember that visual sits in your mind and ingrains in it. I did this test yesterday where like you're looking at 10 words and I was trying to memorize it and you forget it, even though you might remember it, but then you might spend all this time to memorize. It's called rote memory, where you're repeating the words over and over again, but you'll forget it 10 minutes later. But if you visualize a story, like I have the line of words like a fire hydrant was tied up to a bunch of balloons, and then the balloons fell on a bunch of batteries that was already in the barrel. Then it hit a sign. So the words were like fire hydrant, balloon, battery, barrel, signs. And that sign was on top of a diamond because diamond was a word. And on top of the diamond, it was taken by a knight who found an ox that had to brush his teeth, and then hit a sign. So those were the words, but I memorized that in a couple minutes, and shit, I fucking still remember. Excuse me, I'm working on that. I'm still remember it because visual and tying a story outbeats the words. Make sense? So that's why you guys want to like work on that. So that's why I like coding. I like visuals.
And man, when you said TikTok is audio, TikTok is audio and Instagram is visual. So what's your approach on TikTok then in that manner? So you're just talking the whole time, or what do you do?
I would say in Pico Rivera, in the city of Pico Rivera, there is a gem. In LA County, in San Bernardino, start saying the county, city. If it's a city of Bell no one's ever heard of, I probably wouldn't say Bell. I say in LA County, or next to the city of Bellflower, or next to the city like Lake, like say the main city and then the little city if it's a little city, because you're trying to drive the content there. A $600,000 home, what you need to make $4,500 a month. I'm saying the numbers, and then on Instagram, I'm the visual, like it's in the picture. Okay,
Makes sense. Yeah, love that. Love that. Really good stuff. I think Soledad just asked kind of the question, right? If she's making home tours, layering, like specifically if you're doing home tours, what other layering you can combine with that?
I would layer, and I would layer a lot, but actually talk about the property, what it takes to qualify for the property, or talk about the HOA, talk about something regarding the property. The one thing people don't know about when they're buying new construction, hey, people go broke after buying new construction. Here's the reason why. So when you buy new construction, there's something called supplemental taxes. If I'm buying new construction, I'm like, what the fuck did I just say? It's like, you can go broke buying new construction. Here's why. So now you're hitting it. And so you guys know your thumbnails, it sucks to say this. I call it suicide watch. Your thumbnails should be suicide watch. Think about this. Anything bad happening, is it more vilified or it stands out more than good things, right? For some reason, it sucks. Human nature, when it's negative and bad, people love to hear it. When it's not, people don't want to hear it.
That's true.
So you got to make sure your thumbnail, like if for home tour is different, but if you're going to talk about something, you don't care if it's good, make it bad. Like Jesus is not coming back. It's the end of the world, right? It should be like that, and that's going to stop someone from hearing from it. If I say, hey, there's a great house for sale, like the last house in Garden Grove for sale, or the last house about to burn down, whatever it is, right? It's going to make you stop and hear it. So you got to make sure you do that. So me, I would do new construction, different areas, or maybe you do a voiceover in different areas around that new construction and do a voiceover. Hey, there's a coffee shop in the city of Tustin. Here's another thing in the city of Tustin, right? Oh, here's a new construction. Talk about it. Like I said, go to Kina DeSantis' page. She talks a lot about local coffee shops. She loves coffee, brewing coffee. She talks a lot about that, where she gets her best place to do her nails in Orange County. So she's building the audience that she wants to come to her page. Hopefully it's Soledad that helps you out. Thank
Love
you,
it.
AJ.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. 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 Any last questions, guys? We got about 3 more minutes. Any last questions? This has been like drinking out of a fire hydrant here. It's been amazing. I know I'm going to go back and replay it and get the golden nuggets here. Anything else that you guys have, put it in the chat. But dude, this has been so powerful, man. I took a lot of good stuff from this, and really making like what the page is about, right? Who the ideal audience is. I think it's so important, for each and every person to do that.
I'll give you 2 nuggets before I go. So if you are going to do talking heads, what's important to people that people don't like, besides living trust, if you know living trust well, how to hold title correctly. Both my videos on holding title went viral, and people don't know how to hold title correctly. Joint tenants in common. What happened? What goes wrong in joint tenants? What goes wrong in tenant in common, right? How you hold title is a really strong anchor.
I love it. Wrote that one down. Good stuff. Awesome. Everybody that's here, yes, we are going to be sending out the recording. Jerry, thank you for answering the question. We are going to send out the recording. We're going to post it on our YouTube channel. Any last I would say piece of advice, bro? You've gave us so much, but like any last thing you want to leave everybody with today? Like last message you want to leave everybody with today?
Trial and error. Scare money, make no money. So you got to just put yourself out there and do it. If you don't do it, it's going to pass you by. You're going to say woulda, coulda, shoulda, but didn't. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your children. You owe it to your parents who squeezed you out and made so many sacrifices for you to be here today. You owe it to all those people for you to get off your butt, not be afraid, take it off the pedestal and try and just do it. And that's why you got to do what you got to do.
I love it, brother. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, man. Once again, brother, this was extremely valuable. Guys, go ahead and show Mr. Min a lot of love here on the chat, and also make sure that you guys give him a huge shout out, and at least post one of the nuggets that you took away from today's conversation. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you spending the time with our community, and as always, Stay tuned, guys, for the next training. You guys know we're going to bring some more fire coming up.
There, guys.
Thank you, guys. Alrighty. Peace.